Welcome back. This will be lesson 10. We're going to work with the MIDI Effect Rack. So let me collapse everything that we've got currently here. And I'll just leave it at that. We don't need it all the way collapsed. So let's create another MIDI clip, and I'll stop the top one. So on this MIDI clip, just creating basically a rhythmical pattern. I'm not really concerned about anything outside of a rhythmical pattern here. That should do it. I'll fold that and we will bring it down. Let's open this back up and let's go to our MIDI effects and let's get a MIDI Effect Rack right here, and we'll drag it in front of our newly created synth rack. And again, here, just like the other racks, everything stays the same. You still have your key, velocity, and chain selections available, and all that fun stuff. So let's do, let me see, MIDI effects. I'll work with random. I'll just keep that guy shut, and we'll give you an idea how creative you can be just using a simple little rhythmical MIDI pattern. So on the first one, I'll drop a random here, and we'll just duplicate and duplicate again. So we've got 3 copies of random. Now, right now, if I hit this, it's going to sound like garbage. You know, for a lack of a better term, it's just not, there's nothing musical really going on there. And the reason being is they're just kind of grabbing whatever they want. So what we can do is open up our chants all the way on each one. And then here, let's see, on the first one, we'll just leave it at 1, and that'll be under the additive. So let's give this guy a name, and we'll just put add. And on the middle guy, we will go with subtractive. So let's just put sub. And on the third, we will go with the by selection. Rename this one to by. And there we've got 3 variations of the random MIDI effect installed and working in parallel. So the first one, we will maybe change the choices. Second, let's move that up to 2 scales. And the third, we can move up to 3 scales. Now, again, it's not going to sound that pleasant. Let me go ahead and hit play. Honestly, it's a downright disaster. So what we can do to help ourselves here is force it through a scale. So under the MIDI effects, go to scale, and we will grab, we'll just make it easy on ourselves, and we'll grab a C minor, and we'll put that after the random. And better yet, we'll put it inside the rack. There we go. Well, no, I don't think I want to do that either. Let me go ahead and, yeah, I don't want it inside because then it's going to want to assign itself to one individual one. We want it to go, we want all 3 of these going through it. So let's put it on the outside here. And now each one of these layers is working, you know, in a different way at random, but they're being forced through our scale, so it's going to make a little bit better musical sense to us. Let's hear what we've got. So it's starting to sound a little bit more musical. It's being forced into the scale. And each layer is, you know, making its own choices here. And you can kind of dial in and adjust what you see fit or what works musically. but they're again being constrained by the scale, which helps it sound a little bit more musical. So that's the MIDI effects, MIDI effects racks, and way to assign them and help them, or create a way to add variety to, you know, a simple MIDI note or MIDI rhythm pattern. It's one note, it's just a rhythmic pattern feeding into these three things that are all dividing the signals differently according to what we have assigned here, and then being constrained by our chord. And creating a really nice sound there. So let's move on to the next lesson and see what we continue to do and continue to work with here within our racks.